This part is over.
Darkness rises and light to meet it.
Welcome back to the Cave of Wonders, Dreamwalkers. I am your Sith Lord Callous, and this is Star Wars Legends, where we dive into stories of the past. In these related episodes, I will offer concise histories of the more significant Force-using organizations and their respective philosophies on the Force. Keep in mind, these are only legends. 16 years after the Battle of Yavin, Luke Skywalker met the Force-sensitive Akana Norend Pell and became aware of her affiliation with the Fallanassi, also known as Adepts of the White Current. The Fallanassi are a mysterious religious order made up of Force-using females who can manipulate reality. Like the Witches of Dathomir, the reclusive Fallanassi have developed their own traditions over time, but rather than using their powers to dominate, they practice pacifism and submit to the source of their power, the White Current. Although Luke observed that the White Current and the Force were one and the same, the Fallanassi maintained that their own religion more truly embraces the light, and they do not approve of how the Jedi use the Force to accomplish their goals. If the Fallanassi themselves know anything of the origins of their order, they have yet to disclose significant details. Imperial-era records indicate that they may have existed for many years in secret on the planet Lucazec, until one of the Order's members, Akana's mother, Isela Talsava Norend, revealed their existence to Lucasec's Imperial Governor. Hoping to utilize the Fallanassi and their powers, the Empire offered its protection to the Fallanassi in exchange for an oath of loyalty. The Fallanassi refused and fled. After hiding on various worlds, the Fallanassi finally settled in the Cornacht cluster on the planet Dornick, 628 E, which had been renamed JTP Tan by peaceful Kig pilgrims. The Kig had fled their own homeworld to escape religious persecution and built the Temple of the Infinite Spirit on JTP Tan, where they welcomed the Fallanassi. 17 years after the Battle of Yavin, both the Fallanassi and the Kig nearly met their doom when the genocidal Yavitha began exterminating all non-Yavithian settlements in the Cornacht cluster. Instead of using their formidable powers as a weapon against the Yavitha, the Fallanassi merged the Kig Temple with the White Current to create an illusion of a great ruin. When the Yavitha arrived in JTP Tan's orbit, the illusion deceived them into believing the Kig were already destroyed. Luke persuaded the Fallanassi leader Wailu to create an illusion of a New Republic Phantom fleet that ultimately helped bring an end to the Yavithian threat at the Battle of Inzoth. With the Yavitha defeated, the Fallanassi felt they were no longer needed on JTP Tan. Eventually, they relocated to Pydir, a moon of Almania, which had been decimated by the Dark Jedi Queller. 35 years after the Battle of Yavin, Jacen Solo traveled to Pydir to study the White Current in order to gain a greater understanding of the Force, and he received some training from Akana. The following recording was sent to Luke Skywalker shortly after Jacen left Pydir. Although Akana expressed concern about Jacen leaving the moon before his training was complete, it should be noted that Luke had reason to be cautious of Akana. According to Luke, after he met Akana, she deliberately misled him about the identity of his mother in an apparently desperate effort to enlist him to help her find her own missing parents and the relocated Fallanassi. Evidently, he has not communicated with her since the Battle of Inzoth. The recording reads, Luke Skywalker, it is I, Akana of the Fallanassi. Nearly 2 decades ago, I lied to you about the identity of your mother. My motives were selfish and unpardonable. Despite my apologies and that I have strived ever since to uphold the values of the Fallanassi, I feel even from far across the galaxy, that you still and always will distrust me. This means my greatest regret. I must assume you are aware that your nephew Jason Solo has spent the past 5 years searching for, as he puts it, the true nature of the Force. His search brought him to Pydir. Although I sensed that he was more interested in gaining knowledge of the White Current than immersing himself in it, I granted his request to study with us out of respect to you, because I still feel I am in your debt. The Fallanassi had heard that since the war against the Yuuzhan Vong, the Jedi have developed a new view of the Force, that you now believe that it embraces more than simply light or darkness. I admit I have difficulty understanding this. With all respect, if the Jedi no longer look to the light, how can they serve it? You once told me that the White Current was not unlike the Force, but our philosophies are so very different. It troubles me to think that the Jedi now regard themselves as beyond light and dark, beyond good and evil. I told Jason that it was an error of pride that the Jedi believe they can use the Force instead of submitting to it, and in this pride, they have caused more suffering than they have prevented. With so much power and without a guiding light, might the Jedi cause more harm than good? I acknowledge that I have limited understanding of the Jedi, and that Jason may have decided to end his training on Pydir because of our disparate beliefs. But you said once that the Force is a river from which many can drink, and the training of the Jedi is not the only cup that can catch it. Because you may still believe this, I hope you will at least respect my concern for Jason and also for you. So long as the Jedi make no distinction between the light and darkness, it is not enough to trust and believe that the Force will guide you in your decisions and actions. Thank you for listening to me, Luke. I hope that the light is with you always, and that this message finds you well. Join me next time as we cover the Disciples of Ragnos. If you're new to the channel, subscribe and join the Dreamwalkers on our journey. Turn on notifications to be made aware of future content. Comment, like, share, and as always, thank you for taking your time to spend with the Dreamwalkers.
This part is over.